Greetings YouTube, we are about 10 minutes away from episode 3 of Doctor Who season 11, and this episode is called Rosa. Apparently they're going to meet Rosa Parks, who's civil rights activist, so don't know much about her, I'm afraid. Not quite sure what to expect from this episode, therefore apparently someone, according to the programme description, someone's attempting to alter history, so hopefully they're not going to get too time loopy on us, but we'll have to wait and see. After the first 2 episodes, that is not what I was expecting. Like the last episode, this episode starts straight into the intro sequence. I have a feeling this is what they're going to stick with. Kind of like the classic Doctor Who that used to do that. It's different, but it's fine. It's 1955 in Alabama, in America, and there is racial segregation on the buses. The whites get on through the front door, and they sit at the front of the bus, and the blacks have to get in through, or coloureds, whatever. They have to get in through, the door halfway down the bus and get on the back of the bus. And basically, Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat for, white people that were getting on the front of the bus. This episode is pretty heavy. I mean, straight away, it very quickly starts with a slap in the face. It's a very heavy episode, is this. And it is so tonally different from perhaps what we're used to with Doctor Who. There are serious moments, there are silly moments in the recent series. Well, there was back in the day. But this particular episode was more... It felt more like historical drama than fun sci-fi adventure. It kind of like... It struck me a little bit in this episode particularly, a little bit like Back to the Future, where the time travel is really just a vehicle for telling the story. There is a bad guy in this episode, but his gizmos and the whole time travel thing, it feels secondary. It feels like you could just knock those things out and the rest of the story would still hold up. Obviously, the whole racism issue, we still have that nowadays. It's still hanging on in there. But it's clear that the new writers of Doctor Who, because they've got a new team heading it in, they definitely wanted to go with something different for this episode. They didn't want to have the conventional sci-fi thing. They wanted to tackle something that, in a way, is historical, but it's still current. Right now, it's not this bad nowadays, but you know what I mean. We still have racism around nowadays, and this episode doesn't pull any punches in that regard. It's pretty hard watching sometimes. The bad guy is trying to alter history so that this one particular event, Rosa Parks giving up the seat on the bus, he's trying to alter time so that doesn't happen, and they have a kind of back and forth. It struck me slightly as kind of like a chess match. He does little things to try to ensure that history gets derailed, and they're running all over the place trying to counter them. So it struck me very much like a chess match. But again, it didn't feel like that was the point of this. Again, like the time travel thing, it felt secondary to the point of the story, the message it was trying to get across, the significance of this moment in history. There are 1 or 2 gags here and there. There's a Steve Jobs joke. I think it's the second one that this modern Doctor Who run has had. But this episode wasn't meant to be fun. It was meant to be hard-hitting and serious. And it was meant to make you feel uncomfortable. And it does. Very. I honestly can't see the modern incarnation of Doctor Who doing this before now. As I said again, they've got a different team working on the programme now. And this isn't something I can visualise the Stephen Moffat gang doing. And it makes me wonder what else they're going to do. From the looks of it, I think the next episode is something to do with spiders, so I'm really looking forward to that. But for a completely different reason. I think we're going to get more of a conventional episode next time. But yeah, it does make me wonder how this episode is going to rank. Because apparently there's 10 episodes in this series, and this was episode 3. So I wonder how high up the list of, if you were to make a top... Well, if it would be a top 10 list, it would be all of them. But you know what I mean? Where is it going to rank? I'm a bit loath to commit. But this was a very good episode. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And there were no monsters. And very few flashy special effects for that matter. So that was episode 3, Rosa. Definitely not what I was expecting. But a very good episode. And definitely recommend it. But yeah, that one, fair warning, it is a heavy episode on the whole racism topic. And as I say, it does literally start with a slap in the face. That is not an exaggeration. Looking forward to what more episodes, what more themes and whatnot they choose to tackle in the future. So after this, because as I say, I wasn't expecting this. Wondering what else they're going to come up with. Now, that's the problem. When they do this good an episode, it causes them to raise the bar. And... Episode 3. We've got another 7 episodes to go. You may have unreasonably raised my expectations beyond the point where you're able to satisfy them. So I'm a little bit worried now, if I'm honest, for the rest of Series 11. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I was always going to keep on watching the series regardless. But yeah, wondering what they're going to do next. Definitely. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe and share, all that jazz. See you next time.